library consultant. And today we are going to go over everything you have available through the San Francisco Law Library's digital library. You should be able to see my screen, but in case you can't, please put it in the chat. We are currently on the San Francisco Law Library's homepage. And I'm just quickly going to show you the easiest way to get to the digital library. If you go to legal research, you'll see the second option is LexisNexis Digital Library. When you click on that, the library has put together a number of pieces of information regarding the digital library. If you don't already have credentials to log into the digital library, there's going to be links that you can click on to reach out to a librarian to set up an account to access the LexisNexis Digital Library. I don't know why, but the law library's homepage is going pretty slow. We'll let it load for a second, but it will allow you to see not only instructions on how to access the digital library, but also additional materials, as well as a list of the titles available and links to the actual digital library, which when you click on it, should take you to this page, which is the San Francisco Law Library's digital library. Basically, all of the content that you're used to accessing, or say, all of the LexisNexis content that you're used to accessing in print format has all been put online for you to be able to access 24 hours a day, 7 days a week from the comfort of your own home, which is really great, especially coming out of the pandemic. It was really helpful to be able to access all of this content when our libraries were closed for so long. When you log in for the first time, your screen will look a little different than mine. What we're currently looking at is my recently read titles, any notes and highlights I've added. So this page is customized based upon your user ID. So we'll show you all of your specific information. If you need to jump into anything you recently created, you can click on any of them and jump right into it. However, on the left-hand side will be all of your navigation tools. We're currently viewing everything off of my computer, but anything I'm showing you, you can also do on a mobile device, whether that's a tablet or your phone. This digital library is really created to be accessed from any mobile platform. So if you go to either the App Store for Apple devices or the Google Play Store for Android devices, you can download the free LexisNexis Digital Library app and be able to access all of this content, again, on your mobile device. And whatever you do on one device will sync amongst all devices. So any notes and highlights you add, any bookmarks you add, all of those will sync from device to device. The only difference when you log in with a mobile device is that at first it asks you for a library code, and that's just so it knows which library you're trying to access. And your library code is just SF Law Library. It's the very end of the URL up here. Also, this URL, lexisdl.com/library/SF Law Library is your unique URL. So if you want to bookmark that, it never changes. So you'll be able to always access the digital library right from here. Also, if at any point you guys have questions throughout this session, feel free to put them in the chat and we can tackle them as we go, or we'll definitely have some time at the end. So again, on the left-hand side will be your navigation tools. We're at our homepage. If you click on Browse Library, you're going to see a handful of curated collections that the library staff has put together for you. The first thing you're going to see is the California Practice Collection. So this is all of your California specific material. Further down, you're going to have administrative law, your discovery, real estate and real estate forms, and then your recently added titles. Recently added could be anything that the library purchases and also any newest additions that are added for this content. At the very bottom of this page, you're going to see hyperlinks for a number of different subjects. If you click See All 53 Subjects, that's going to take you to a listing by jurisdiction and practice area of every single item that you guys have access to. So they group it together by jurisdiction, by practice area, by content type down below here. But if you wanted to see everything that we have on contracts, you can click contracts. If you just want to see everything that deals with California, you can click on California. If you want to dig even further into what's available through the library, if we go back here and go to the very, very, very bottom of this screen under Browse Library, you'll see this View Full Collection button. If you click on that, that is going to take you to an alphabetical listing of every single volume within the digital library. So it defaults to all titles, which really just means all volumes. So you'll see it starts with admin law here, and you'll see it expands out each and every volume. If you like to see everything grouped together by sets, you can click sets. And you can also filter this out by jurisdiction, practice area, content type, and sort by title or release date. So again, if you just want to see everything that the library has to offer, you can click into here and scroll through. Probably the most used feature when you're looking at the digital library here is the search bar. So up at the top, you can type in either a title, an author, a subject, practice area, whatever it is you're looking for. That's only going to search through title information, so keep that in mind. Whatever you put in that search bar is only going to look through the title. It's not looking through any of the content of the individual volumes. But if I just wanted to see all of our forms volumes, I can type in forms, click search, and it's going to bring back all of my forms titles. Again, this page defaults to show you all titles, so that means every single volume that's part of a multi-volume set expanded out. But you can also click sets if you like to see everything grouped together in sets. User preference, but you have those two view options. You also have the ability to filter from this results page. So if I click on filters and I know that I only care about California forms, I can apply that and it will automatically narrow those results. Again, on the right side, I can sort by relevance, title, or release date. And as I scroll down, you'll see again, each of these expanded out. And from here, if I knew exactly which title I wanted, say I knew California Forms of Plea and Practice Volume 2 was exactly what I needed, I can click read and immediately jump into that volume. However, if I still need a little bit more information, I can click anywhere on the title itself, and that's going to take me to what we call a book details page. This is going to be all of the information you've ever wanted to know about this volume. So you'll have your title information. On the left-hand side, as you scroll down, you'll see the edition information, your available copies. You can click read if you want to jump right into it again. There's a copy title link. So if you knew someone else was looking for this volume, you can actually send this link or a link to this page to them. And you can also tag volumes. So I think of tags as quick links to my most used volumes. You can tag as many titles as you need. You can name the tags whatever you like. They're unique to your user ID, so we never touch them. If you want to create a tag, just click into it and we'll say forms, create new tag, and you'll see it adds it down below here. Now, again, the next time I need this volume, that tag will appear on my homepage and also under my tags. So it just takes out that middleman of having to, run a search for this volume. It'll automatically just pop up on that homepage or under my tags. Again, you can name tags whatever you want. They will be there indefinitely until you delete them or you delete your user ID. Scrolling up on the right-hand side, there's a lot more information. You do have a hyperlinked table of contents on every single volume within the digital library. This would give you the ability to just scroll through, expand out each chapter or subchapter and click on any section so that you can immediately jump into that section. There's links to additional details, volumes. So if it's part of a multi-volume set, you'll have links to each volume within that set, and links to prior releases. I'm going to click on this just so you guys can see it. Our prior releases go back to about 2011 in our system. If a volume does have a prior release attached to it, When you click into prior releases, you'll see that it expands out and it will list out the release number, the release date. You can click read and immediately open up that volume. So again, it'll be that release as it was on that date. If you ever need something further back than 2011, feel free to reach out to me. A lot of times we have it, it just might not have been added to the digital library yet. Are there any questions so far? Okay. So then we get down to what I think is probably my favorite feature within the digital library, and that is the search this title option. You're going to see this on every single volume within the digital library, whether it's part of a multi-volume set or just a single standalone volume title. You'll have the ability to run a search for a keyword or a phrase throughout this title prior to actually even clicking read. So for something that's part of a multi-volume set, especially one that's 56 volumes, you have the ability to run a search for whatever it is you're looking for if you're not quite sure which volume you need. So if we're looking for, we'll go auto insurance. So I'm just going to type in automobile insurance, and what it's going to do is it's going to look through and tell me that there are a total of 107 sections and 27 volumes that specifically have that search term. And as I scroll down, you'll see it lists out the volume, the section. You'll see your search terms bolded and highlighted. And as you scroll through results, you'll see that there's a couple different hyperlinks. The first hyperlink you're going to see is the share hyperlink on the right-hand side. That's going to allow you to share a link to this specific volume and section with anyone else who has access to the digital library. So it allows you to share a link to a more specific page rather than just saying, a link to this actual volume. The second link you're going to see is go to passage. And that's probably the most used link because it's going to allow you to open up the volume. So volume 8, section 80.03, and directly jump into that research. When I click go to passage, this option is going to pop up. It's going to tell you that you have this title for up to 7 days. And all you have to do is click borrow. And it will now open up volume 8 and drop me right to that section. You can borrow up to 10 titles at any time within the digital library. Once you hit that 10 volume limit, it'll ask you to start returning volumes. So you just want to keep that in mind. And again, it just drops us right to that section we clicked on. Any questions on how I got from point A to point B within this title? Okay. From here, once you're in a volume, there's a ton of things you have access to. So down below, you're going to see all of your menu options. You do have the ability to print sections of this text. So you can print a single page or an entire chapter. You can print a physical copy or print a PDF. You have those options available to you. We do like to say that if you know you're going to print quite a bit, definitely use Internet Explorer. I'm so sorry. Definitely use Google Chrome. Those are going to be your best print options when it comes to printing from our titles. Don't use Internet Explorer. Our digital library does not work on Internet Explorer, but it will work on any other modern browser. So Chrome, Edge Chromium, Firefox, Safari, any of the, again, modern browsers you'll have access to. Next to the print icon, you're going to have a hyperlink table of contents. So you can scroll through here. You can run a search through your table of contents. It's always available. Next to that, you're going to have this find feature. That's going to allow you to run another search for additional terms that you're looking for. This differs a little bit from the previous search we ran. This is only going to look through this one volume. But if I'm looking for, it's going to run through and let me know all of the search results for that search term. You'll see that it bolds my search terms, and each one of these sections is hyperlinked, so I can jump into any section right from here. It'll show you your search terms highlighted, and then up at the top, It'll tell you which search result you clicked on. And these arrow keys will allow you to jump from result to result, just to scroll through, or you can click show all and see all of your search results again. Again, that's only going to look through this one volume that you happen to have open. On the far right, you're going to have your settings. So you can really customize how you view each and every one of these titles in the digital library. Everything from the background lighting, if you don't like the bright white that it defaults to the size of the font, the type of font, if you don't like the publisher's default, you can always change that. All of this is customizable. If you do take the time to customize it, it will remember it for future use, so you won't have to do this each and every time. It also defaults to open up the titles in this two-page view, almost like you had the book open on your desk. If you prefer a single page view, up at the top right next to the bookmark, you'll see these 3 lines. That's going to allow you to switch to a 1-page per screen view. It's just the second option. Also, if you like keyboard shortcuts, we do list out all of our keyboard commands here. And if there's anyone on call that enjoys using a screen reader alongside their digital library titles, we list out how to utilize our digital library titles with any screen readers that are available on the market. Finally, if we're looking at the last 2 options down here, those are annotations and highlight. You have the ability to highlight and annotate as much as you want on as many of these titles. Your notes and highlights are unique to your user ID. No one else will ever see them. They don't expire at any point. They will be there indefinitely until you delete them or you delete your user ID. Also, your notes and highlights are always available to you. So there's a couple different ways that you can add notes and highlights. The first is if you're just wanting to add, a note here or there, all you have to do is click and drag your cursor and you'll see a couple options pop up. If I just want to add a note, I can click add annotation. It defaults to this bright yellow, but I can customize my highlighting colors right from here. And then I can add a note. I'll just say, click done. And you'll see it adds that highlight. And it's probably pretty small on your screens, but there's a little red sticky note icon that pops up. And that's just a visual cue to let you know that there's also an annotation attached. Now, if you plan on adding quite a few notes and highlights, you can actually set that feature live just by clicking the highlight button down at the bottom. When it does, again, it defaults to that bright yellow, but you can come in here and choose any other color. We'll go turquoise today. And now when I scroll through, all I have to do is click and drag again, but it automatically highlights. This option automatically pops up. I can change highlighting colors at this point too. So if I want to switch, different colors for different issues that I'm working with, you have that ability. I'll just say, from here, I can also copy a passage link. That copy passage link would allow me to share a hyperlink to this section of text that I just highlighted with anyone else that has access to this digital library. I can also copy with citation. So I can copy that section of text I highlighted to a clipboard. And when I paste it into a Word document or an email, it will include the citation as well. You also have the find, define, and delete features available to you from here. Again, your notes and highlights are unique to your user ID, so no one else will ever see them. And they're always available in multiple spots within the digital library. The first is always going to be when you're in the title itself. So from here, I can click on annotation, and this is going to show you all of the notes and highlights you've added for this one title. If you've added quite a few, you can actually run a search through your notes and highlights. You can also narrow by highlighting color. It's going to show you, what you highlighted, what color you highlighted it in, any notes you've added. You can edit and delete the note right from here as well. And if you like to have a hard copy or a PDF of your notes and highlights, you can print them right from here as well. So a bunch of different options. Again, this is just the first spot you're going to see them in. They're always going to be available on your homepage as well. Your notes and highlights are available even if someone else has borrowed this volume. So it might not, the volume itself might not be available for you to check out, but your notes and highlights from that volume will always be available to you. Last thing to point out, throughout the digital library titles, you're going to see a number of hyperlinks. Anything hyperlinked in blue will just jump you within this one volume. Anything you see hyperlinked in green, those are going to be your cases and codes. Those would link you out to that case or code on Lexis Advanced or Lexis Plus, depending on if you have an ID for those. If you're within the library, I believe the library has a patron access account for Lexis. So that would link you to that case or code. If you're accessing the digital library from home, it'll still open up a new tab. So you'll see that when you click on it, you never lose the spot within the title itself. And if you do have access to your own Lexis Advanced or Lexis Plus account, it'll ask you to sign in, and then you can jump right to that case or code that you clicked on. If you don't have access to your own account, it'll just drop you on a sign-in page. There's no way to like accidentally charge yourself for anything. But in order to get that case or code, you'll have to reach out to your library to request it. Are there any questions on the functionality within the read feature of the digital library?
So, Andrea, can you hear me? All right.
Yeah.
So we do have some questions about some different aspects, not necessarily some might be on the read feature, but I could start or wait if that.
Yeah.
Okay. And anyone, please put your questions in the chat, and we plan to get to all of them. Also, we do have access in the library. You don't have to have an account in the library on one of our computers, if someone seemed to mention. So the first question, if you borrow, return, and reborrow a title, are your annotations and highlights maintained?
Yes. So great question. You'll see them. So I'm just going to close out of the title we were in, and it just drops me right back to where we left off in our search items. But as I mentioned, all of your notes and highlights are always available to you. So again, if you borrow this title, return it, and then a week, a month, a year from now, go back into that same volume, your notes and highlights will still be there. We also always give you access to them from both your homepage and the My Annotation section of the digital library. So it doesn't matter how long ago you accessed that volume, as long as you haven't deleted your user ID in between there, you'll still see all of your notes and highlights from that volume under My Annotations.
Great. And is there a limit to how many people can access a title?
Yes. So if you're accessing it remotely, so from your home, the limit is 1 user per volume. So, technically in a multi-volume set, California Forms of Pleading and Practice, if someone wanted to borrow, each one of those volumes, 56 people could be using that title at any one time. The index volumes are always set to simultaneous use, meaning as many people as need to can look at the index at any given moment. But each individual volume is limited to 1 user at a time.
And pardon me, but this is my own follow-up, just comment, and people are able to put holds on them, right?
Yes, and I'll show you how to do that too.
Okay. And then, and if there is the limit, can you access your annotations and highlights without borrowing the title?
Yes. So a number of titles have, are going to be on hold at any given moment. And if something you've put an annotation on previously is being borrowed by someone else, your annotations from that title are always going to be available. So again, you can go into My Annotations, click on whichever volume it is that you need to access. So you just click View Annotations. It'll show you all of your notes and highlights. So it'll show you what you highlighted, what color you highlighted it in, what notes you've added. It'll give you the citation, the release information, when it was updated. And then from here, you can pick and choose whichever notes and highlights you're interested in. So I'm just going to select all of them just to show you guys a couple options. You'll always have the ability just to copy and paste your notes. So if you just want to copy and paste them into a Word document, you can. However, if you add to export queue, I'm going to click on that and you'll see it adds it to a queue over here. You can add multiple notes and highlights from multiple volumes to your queue. We don't clear your export queue out at any point, so you can kind of just store your notes and highlights that you're working on in your queue. And when you do that, you can add as many notes and highlights as you need to. And what's really great is from here, you can run a search through all of the notes and highlights you've added. So if there's a keyword you're looking for, you can search for it. You can also narrow by highlighting color right at the top right here. And then when you're ready to download your notes and highlights, we give you more options than just copy and paste. So you can pick and choose which ones. I'm just going to select all of them. We give you that copy option, but if you click export, that's where your additional options pop up. So you can download your notes and highlights to a Google Drive account, a PDF, a CSV Excel file. So again, more options than just copy and paste when it comes to accessing your notes and highlights.
Someone's saying that they're not allowed to sign in on their iMac, but they have their iPhone's okay.
I'm not sure why that would be, because I know my personal computer is a Mac and I use it quite a bit. I wonder if there's like any sort of firewall that's preventing it. If they want, they can. You can give them my contact info, and I can work with Overdrive to figure out why they're not being able to access it.
Oh, okay. So the person who asked that, if you wanted to just email to the library, with your question, and we'll try to follow up with you about that and give Andrea's contact information. Thank you. And then just one other, can people cut and paste from volumes?
Yes, so you can what they would do would say copy with citation. So you'll just highlight the section of text you're interested in, click copy with cite after you highlight it, and then you can paste that into anything you're working on. So whether it's a Word document or an email.
Okay, great. And just with regards to the iMac question, there's a comment that you can download the Google Chrome browser and it'll work on that.
Oh, perfect.
Okay.
Perfect. Okay.
And I think that's all that I see for the questions from now. Thank you so much.
Sure. I just want to show you guys really quickly how to place a hold if you need to. So I'm going to go back here into my books. And this is a running list of everything you've ever borrowed. You'll see California Forms of Planning and Practice, the one we actually borrowed. Down on the bottom right, there's a little clock icon. This is where you can go to return a title early. So you technically can hold it for 7 days, but if you're done with it and you want to let anyone else who might have placed a hold use it, you can come in here, click on that clock icon, and it'll allow you to return it. When you do, it'll just go to the next person in line if someone's placed a hold. Now, if there's a volume that you need that someone else has already borrowed, scroll down here, volume 1 of California Forms of Planning and Practice is already on hold. You'll see a place a hold rather than a read option. If you click place a hold, this hold option will pop up, and you can just put your email address in here and then click place a hold. And as soon as that title is ready to be borrowed, you'll receive an email notification to come in and borrow that title. So it makes it really easy. You can put whatever email address you want in here. So whichever one you check most often, go ahead and put it in there. Once you place a hold, you can always edit that hold. So if you no longer need that title, you can remove that hold. Under My Books, again, you'll see up at the top here, holds. So it'll show you any of the holds you've added to these titles. So this is where you can also come in and edit them if you need to. So you can click edit hold. And I can either change the email address if I need to update that, or just click remove hold, and it will remove it for me. That's pretty much everything that has to do with the digital library. Does anyone else have any other questions for me?